That's what you know. So many of us come from these small places in our mind that we're not willing to think outside of only what we've seen. Our mind works in such a small compartment. And one thing I was able to do was to dream. Many people, but don't make dreams your fucking master. But I was able to dream outside those fucking four walls of that small town. And until you're able to really put yourself into that dream, but don't make dreams your master, that's where you truly become what you're destined to become.
What do you mean, don't make dreams your master?
A lot of people sit back and they dream about being a sports figure, or dream about being a SEAL, or dream about being an astronaut. And all it is a motherfucking dream. They don't put the work behind the dream. That dream has become their fucking master. When you become the master of your fucking dream is when you say, I want to go be a Navy SEAL. And you say, okay, I'm going to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 fucking months. The dream was the one thing I thought about, and the dream was now gone. Now what comes in, the dream goes away, and the fucking laundry list of fucking details and tasks come up. Gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. That's when you become the master of your dream. So a lot of people out there dreaming.
Ryan Holiday says, talking about the thing and doing the thing vie for the same resources. Allocate yours appropriately.
That's it. That's it.
That's the way it works as well. That's the way that the brain works. You can actually get these kicks of dopamine by telling your friends about, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. I'm going to start my training next week. It's going to be great. I'm going to feel like this.
It feels good. It feels good to talk about that shit, man. It actually makes you feel good, makes you feel proud, all that shit. But guess what happens? That alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. to train. I don't want to be a SEAL today. Or I don't want to be whatever today. I'll start tomorrow. And that's the usual pattern of people's lives. That's why I talk about clearing out the mind. Until you really want to do something, you're always going to be a talker. You're always going to run your fucking mouth.
So again, with the audio version of this book, you've done podcasts in between each chapter where you're recapping what's just happened. And this time you brought guests, one of which was your mother.
Right.
And you spend a 35-minute conversation sitting down with her and talking about the experiences that she had with your father and reflecting on that.
Right.
A lot of stuff you'd elected to leave out of the first book. So that means there's been a journey that you've gone through to get to the stage where both you and her and collaboratively, you felt okay sharing that publicly.
Right.
Like, what's that process like? Because your mum didn't ask for this. I mean, you kind of also did. You put a book out there because you thought it was useful, and now millions and millions of people know about you. But, you know, the gravity field of your notoriety is starting to bring other people in as well. So what was the journey of getting to that stage like?
Well, it wasn't so much me. I had already laid out, you know, a lot of shit about me that was, you know, pretty embarrassing and can't hurt me. So for her, that actually helped her out. She said, wow, if you have the courage to go out there and tell people all your shit, you know. And so that process was, it took about 4 years of me working with my mom because, you know, she was very damaged by what she went through. And so was I. But I knew no one was coming to save me. So I had to go ahead and fix my shit. And she kind of lived in a different place. But when I wrote Can't Hurt Me, it started waking her up that, hey man, why do you care? Why do you care so much what people think about you, what you went through? Why are you putting so much on other people and what they may say about you? Like there's some stuff I talk about, you know, that is pretty embarrassing for some people. But she got to a point in her life where she was able to, you know, stop caring because we all have our shit. No one, like people, it's so funny to me. There'll be people who are out here commentating about people who are fucking up out here. Famous people who are fucking up. And I don't know how they're able to do that when I guarantee while your skeletons are not being out there, if I were to open up your fucking door, motherfucker, how are you doing that? So I know that about everybody. Like people love to talk shit about somebody and keep themselves out of it. And so we went through that journey together. And so it allowed her to come out and say, yeah, fuck it. You know, I'm a big person who, I want to give people the confidence, to walk in a room of 1 million people and none of them like you, and you just like say, fuck you, I'm good. And walk out with you by yourself.
You helped your mom do that as well.
And now she can look at everybody and say, yeah, I fucking married a motherfucker that choked a woman to death. I was in a bad place. I'm good with that.
One of the days that you focus on a good bit in that conversation is the day that she decided to leave your father.
Right.
And take you and your brother with her. Mm-hmm. Was there anything that you learned about upon reflection where both of your experiences opened up a new realization to you?
That was a hard time for her and for me also. I was ready to leave a long time ago. I was just waiting for her to get the courage to finally leave him. And I don't think anything from that really, I think that's where the damage really began. I think for her, when she left, her fight went away. And it's kind of like when you run 100 miles. When you sit down, your body can then say,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm done.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
The second she left, that the mind said, oh my God, like we can be human.
It's like PTSD.
Yes, we can be human and we're not fighting anymore. And it just swarmed. The demons that all that fight and all that shit was keeping away, it just came and it swallowed her whole. And it also swallowed me whole. But once again, like we were talking about, I got a chance to watch her and she set out the ultimate blueprint on how not to be. So I had a hard time learning growing up, but I was very smart when it came to human beings. A genius. Because I lived in such hell, I was always studying people. Who can I trust? Who can I not trust? Energy. I got really good with energy. Is this person's energy good? Is it bad? So I became a genius on human beings. So I studied people all the time. Studied all the time.
She also talks about considering taking her own life.
Oh, yeah.
Were you aware of that before you started working toward this book?
Yeah.
Together?
So yeah, she talked about that a few times with me, behind closed doors, and I'm surprised she didn't. There's a lot of stories that are still untold that she probably will never talk about, and I'll never talk about them until she says it's fine. But yeah, it was a bad way. So I give her credit for having the strength to say, okay, I need to continue on and figure out, what's next for me.
But she says the only reason that she didn't go through with it is because of you and your brother, because she knew that she would be leaving you in the hands of this tyrant that was going to mistreat you even more badly now that she wasn't around to protect you.
Yeah.
Which is it's beautiful, but it's also kind of a lot of pressure. It feels like a lot of pressure for a child to be the reason for his mother to still be there. And it's also a damning conclusion about the state of her life.
Right.
That the only thing stopping you from taking your own life is these two boys.
But it's also beautiful in a way because a lot of people only have one thing. You don't need a lot of things. Sometimes the only thing that kept me with that one step forward was one thing. And so that one thing can get you to 2 things, to 3 things, to 4 things. So that was the beautiful thing about that, is that now she's 75 and she's retired because of that one thing.
You're having this conversation with your mum during the production of the audiobook. Mm-hmm. You're having a conversation which is difficult to have in private.
Right.
With 2 microphones in front of you,
right,
knowing full well that this is going out to millions of people. It's going to be scrutinized. It's going to be listened to. It's going to be reflected on.
Yep.
How difficult is it to watch your mother opening up about an experience which to you was traumatic, and then reopening those wounds in front of you and talking about that for millions of people to hear?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard, but it's necessary.
Why?
To be able to own your trauma, to be able to own everything about you and look it in the eye. Like, there's a part in 8 Mile with Eminem, the very end, when this white boy fucking trying to make it in the rap world and getting beat down and shit. Comes from some trailer park shit. And he's like, how the fuck am I going to win this rap battle? Because my best friend got shot in the foot and this dude slept with my girl and all this shit. So what he does to take all the power from the motherfucker who's going to rap battle his ass, he's like, I'm going to tell you every motherfucking thing about me. I'm just going to fucking tell you. And that's how I feel about life. And that's how my mom now feels about life. I'm just going to fucking tell you everything fucking about me. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to do none of this shit. And it's a refreshing feeling. When you can get in front of millions of people, get an audiobook, and you can go through your shit and lay it out, and you walk away. There's no more secrets. There's no more secrets. Like when people say, oh, hey, Lance Armstrong, did you do steroids? No. Yes. While I have nothing wrong with Lance Armstrong or anybody else. Just fucking tell them motherfuckers, man. And guess what happens to the conversation? It's over. It fucking ends.
There's a really telling moment in the book. I think it's my favorite part, and it's not even in this one. It's in the audiobook. And it's when it's getting quite difficult with your mum, and you offer her a route out. You ask if she wants to take a break.
Yep.
She says no. I want to keep going. So it seems like she's got a bit of that dog in her as well.
Oh yeah, she had to. Yeah, she had to. One thing that when you grow up the way we kind of grew up together, that's how I look at it. When you grow up,
was she young when she had you?
She had me
Trunis
at
Jr.?
28, and my brother at 24. So, but after that, we grew up together, and you got to have a dog in you. You have to have a dog in you, man. And so you have to have it, like my grandfather called it, a stiff upper lip. You better have a stiff upper lip. So, she has some dog in her. She has to. There's no other way to make it out here. I mean, you can't just always be, head down in the sand. You got to learn to pick yourself up on your own. A lot of times these fights and these battles, you got to be your own fucking coach. You got to be your own motivator. And she had to do that several times in her life.